Well, good morning, everyone. I am KOIN 6 Senior Meteorologist here in the KOIN NOW booth. Just come back with an update of this morning's Tsunami Advisory that, again, continues across the region. We, again, are expecting to see some coastal impacts. Again, smaller waves are still certainly possible. Here, let's fix these graphics. There we go. As we head our way into the day today, you can see this is a live look of Lincoln City that is out towards the coastline there in the Central Coast. And we, again, aren't seeing too many significant waves. We were never really expecting to do so, but we're just keeping an eye on the coast. Again, it is advised to not turn your backs to the ocean waters and just be cautious with that tsunami advisory still in place. Now, it all started here with a big earthquake. This was a massive earthquake, an 8.8 magnitude earthquake, which again is very, very rare. It's about a once in a 10-year occurrence that we see earthquakes this strong here, really across the world. And this happened on the eastern coast of Russia. And that again sparked that tsunami warning and watch at first, then a warning, and then now an advisory for a lot of areas here around the Pacific. Again, take a look at the Oregon coastline. We still have that tsunami advisory in place this Wednesday morning. Again, there still could be waves, maybe up to 1 to 2 feet. These are not expected to be super impactful or really significant, but we, again, still could see some risk out there. These waves could act like sneaker waves, so just be extra cautious if you are out on the sand. I'm looking at Lincoln City right now and seeing a lot of folks playing in the water. So just be careful. Again, be smart out there with these conditions in place. It is not known when the tsunami advisory will expire. Again, it is just in place until further notice. And actually, the National Weather Service in Portland is pretty hands-off with this stuff. This is, again, deemed and watched over the Tsunami Center in, I believe, Alaska. So we'll keep our eyes on these conditions here for the rest of the morning. Again, smaller waves, maybe wave heights up to about a foot or two, still possible for the Oregon and Washington coastline. Now, take a look here at some of these buoy observations. These are, again, buoys floating in the ocean waters just offshore. And you can see here a couple of locations, the Clatsop Spit buoy, the Tillamook buoy, and a buoy out near Newport, all reporting wave heights earlier around 2 to 3 feet. So a lot of these waves were never that significant. This is really not much change to daily observations that they see. So we really didn't see much impact from that earthquake and tsunami waves in the region from yesterday's earthquake. So those are the observations out there. Just looking at impacts again, we may see those smaller waves, but treat them like sneaker waves. Just use extra caution on the sand and maybe stand back from those waters if you can. But again, not expecting any significant impacts from this tsunami advisory. There may be stronger currents out offshore, so boaters or any folks recreating, any divers or swimmers out there, you will want to be careful. Those waters could be extra choppy, and again, some different currents could, pop up with these tsunami conditions. So keep that in mind too. The good news is this was never going to be a dire situation. There is no widespread inundation expected with these impacts with that earthquake event yesterday. I know a lot of our minds always jump to those movie scenes where a big wall of water is coming. That is not the case heading into this morning or even last night for much of Oregon or Washington. So what is a tsunami? Well, they are sparked by underwater earthquakes under the ocean. And when they're offshore from land, that's when they can really become dangerous because it's the quakes that usher a pulse and a big wave forms as it gets closer to land. The shallower the water is, it kind of pushes into places, displaces that water. So sometimes you can get really big waves. We haven't really seen much of this in the Pacific Northwest, but other countries like areas like Japan and coastal countries, again, have that threat with underwater earthquakes. So this was a cause for concern yesterday. There are still a couple of areas under a tsunami advisory as well. Hawaii is still under one, and areas of China and Japan, again, having their own alerts in place for the results of that earthquake yesterday. out over Russia. Now, moving on here to our forecast today, we are still expecting some heat out there. We'll see temperatures in the upper 80s today, so still expecting a hot afternoon, maybe 90 degrees out to areas of Salem and Eugene. The coastline, mid-60s to about 70 degrees. So a little bit cooler out there. We'll likely see some clouds filling into the area today, but some blue sky to enjoy as well. And thunderstorms, still an impactful weather event today in portions of central and southern Oregon. We'll also track some heat out in the Dalles and Pendleton, likely near triple-digit temperatures heading into today. There's a heat advisory for the Columbia Basin of Washington and the east end of the gorge for those hot temperatures. But your thunderstorm potential, again, includes much of the state. We have a very slim chance to see a storm in the valley today. I do think the bulk of the storms are going to remain out in the central Cascades and southern Oregon, the Klamath Basin once again. We just have a lot of mid-level moisture streaming in, that jet stream pushing that from California into Oregon. So with the heating, we have that chance to see those thunderstorms firing off today. Red flag warning in place, too, for those conditions. You know, those thunderstorms could have lightning strikes that may spark new wildfires. That tends to be the case every fire season and summer for us. So let's hope there are no new fires started from these storms. Again, we have more thunderstorm threats tomorrow and maybe through Friday before we finally see these conditions calming down. So we will keep an eye on the radar closely this afternoon. Here's the futurecast. We are expecting to see those pop-up storms anytime after lunch today. Notice how Deschutes County, areas like Bend in the Cascades, maybe near Mount Bachelor, we have that chance for thunderstorms. So any hikers, too, if you are out in the forest lands, maybe in the Cascades, especially Central Oregon today, you might run into some thunderstorms out there, which can be pretty dangerous. There's the heavy downpours and lightning strikes. Again, tough to be in if you're hiking on those trails. So be extra careful out there. We, again, will start to see a push of clouds into Thursday. And now weather models are showing a much cloudier Thursday here in Portland and possibly a few showers. Take a look at that big shower out in the foothills of Clackamas County. We may see some of these showers associated with the thunderstorms pushing into the metro area as we get to about midday tomorrow. So there could be a quick shower. Again, it might vary in some lighter showers to maybe a quick downpour. There's just a touch of instability where we could see a weaker thunderstorm, possibly around East Multnomah County, briefly through the afternoon tomorrow. So we'll keep our eyes on any of those conditions. The majority of the thunderstorms will stay in central and eastern Oregon, though. But tomorrow looks a little bit interesting as we get to about midday. There might be a shower or two. So we will have our eyes on that as well. Now, your 7-day forecast looks pretty good. After today's heat, we're expecting the mid-80s and lower 80s, just a slow cool down into the weekend here. A lot of sunshine, too. Again, not expecting much rainfall in the picture. We will likely see drier conditions, partly sunny skies, and those temperatures back in the lower 80s, maybe even the upper 70s by the end of the weekend. So in general, pretty nice forecast. Again, no extreme heat. I don't see any triple-digit weather. We are back under very mild summery conditions here with mainly dry weather as we move forward. So make those outdoor plans this weekend. I know summer is kind of wrapping up for some kiddos here as we start to gear up for back to school. So take advantage of it. Enjoy it. Again, today's pretty hot. We'll see cool down on Thursday with a chance for a few showers. But ultimately, a very nice dry and summer pattern returns to Portland as we head towards the weekend. Okay, that's about it. We, again, are expecting to still watch the coast very closely here as we head our way into the day today. I just want to show that Tsunami Advisory once again. That is in place until further notice. Again, not expecting any significant impacts to the coastline, but you will just want to use extra caution. Be really safe out there. Treat these waves like sneaker waves. Watch young children and pets out there, and boaters be especially careful. Some of those waves could be a little choppy and maybe a little larger too. Heading into the day-to-day. But we will let you know if and when this tsunami advisory comes to a close. Still, it is intact until further notice. So with that in place, make sure you're just using caution out on the sand. Okay, that's about it. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back at noon with more updates. And again, tonight with your full forecast here on KOIN 6. Have a great morning.